Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the JLJ podcast. It's your boy Jack Wimmery and my heel man JVK.
How's it going, guys?
Also here with Matho.
G'day, g'day.
And today, very big episode, halfway through Festival of Footy, so the fun time's almost over for us. We'll kick off with Matho going for the first game.
Yeah, Geelong, North Melbourne. It wasn't the greatest game of all time. Do you reckon North Melbourne are in trouble right now, like where they're currently at?
Absolutely. North Melbourne are a
Struggling.
very bad club.
They're nearly as bad as Adelaide at the point they are right now. Maybe not as bad, but they're just in an absolute bad situation, North at the moment.
They don't really have any players, so...
Yeah, my start of season prediction, North Melbourne to fold and move to Tasmania is looking more and more likely.
I think it might happen.
It's true. You wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah. Head over to the votes. What do you reckon? Zach Guthrie 3.
Yeah, great game.
Brian Myers 2. How many? 4 goals.
Isn't it Cam Guthrie? Zach Guthrie's the crap backman.
Oh yeah, his brother.
Ron Guthrie.
You know. Ron Guthrie. There's one that's good and there's one there isn't.
Yeah. And then Sam Mangola was huge as well, I think. Considering the shorter quarters, when players put up big numbers of disposals and stuff like that, I reckon it's such a better effort than what it is during the normal.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
It's huge. And Tom Hawkins as well. I think Tom Hawkins and Brian Myers are working very well together in the Geelong forward line. They combined for 7 goals, which I think was a decent effort from them. And good to see Joel Selwood back out there as well, your man VK.
It's really great to see him out there ducking his head like always, but we'll move on.
Yeah.
Well, so...
Do you want to head over to the Melbourne-Adelaide game, VK?
Absolutely. I was the Petrarca and Oliver show this week, boys. Oliver with 34 touches and the goal, he was huge. Adelaide, I'm going to continue my prediction from last episode saying they will not win a game for the rest of the year. What do you guys reckon Adelaide really need? I don't know. I'm lost for words with Adelaide at the moment.
They need a lot of players. You're going to need 2 more midfielders. So Brad Crouch will leave at the end of the year. Likely might go to St Kilda now, I think, are the front runners for them.
Yeah.
So they need 2 midfielders. They need a key forward because Tex Walker's passed it. Tom Lynch is no good. They need small forward because they've lost Eddie Betts. They need
everything, don't they?
They need a key defender because Tarly is too old now. I guess Duday's all right, but still you'd like another one. Then they need players who can actually run with the ball.
So what you're saying is they need a full club refresh. Taylor Walker,
they do.
The confidence is just dipped. You see that it's a complete difference between him and his Charlie Dixon. Charlie Dixon, who struggled with his confidence in previous years, he's full of confidence now. And you see Tex with just a complete decline in this confidence. It's not that nice to see from him, but hopefully he can play on. I was talking about the other day, he may not play on.
He's not in their best team anymore. I wouldn't think Adelaide wanted to play on.
Yeah, and he wouldn't go. No one's going to pick him up. So.
I reckon it comes from the rest of the team almost. Like he hasn't got faith in the midfield or anyone to get it down to him. So he's kind of collapsed. But it's all come from the 2017 grand final. Who would have pictured 3 years later Adelaide to be struggling for a rebuild after that preseason camp? I reckon it's just Adelaide
exactly
declined immensely.
Definitely agree. I'd say Oliver with the 3 votes this game, boys. Viney with 2, and then May with the 1 vote.
Yeah, May's putting in a good year.
Yeah, he's playing really well.
Close to the camera there, VK.
Yeah, just want everyone to see what his face is all about. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
All right, so we'll move on to Jacko for Collingwood Sydney.
Absolutely. Collingwood got out of jail once again. Really struggling this year once again, Collingwood, of course. As I said before, they got no forwards. Some really big injuries. Coming to Trelaw with the hamstring. Hoskin Elliott got injured, and of course, the Quaynor, which is one of the biggest talking points of the week, really.
Definitely.
Surprising that the young player on debut for Sydney didn't even get a fine.
That's crazy.
For wearing metal studs. And also I think they show that Dane Rampy was wearing the same type of boots.
Yeah.
He got away. Well, of course, he didn't do it. I think he actually stood on Myercheck's hand or something and left a
Yeah, I
big
did hear
wound.
about
So
It's going to be a fine for both of them, really. You're not allowed to do that. It should be
I
a
think-
fine for both of them.
Do you reckon it comes from the NRL? Like, are they allowed to wear them studs in the NRL? And because they are in New South Wales, it's
No, they know the
might be
rules.
all right.
No,
No, I don't. I think it's
they
just
know
because
the rules.
yeah, they just know that people don't check their studs anymore, and
Yeah.
plastic studs are terrible. You see players falling over every couple of minutes, and with metal studs, it's so much easier to grip on the ground. That's why
Yeah.
soccer players wear them.
Yeah.
So yeah, but
Who gets a
Yeah,
vote,
so I'll
Jacko?
yeah, the votes absolutely. 3 votes to Taylor Adams. Really stood up for them when Trelaw went down. Of course, Penderbury was out as well. Sidebottom had a quiet game by his standards, so definitely the 3 votes. 2 votes to Dacos, who's quickly becoming one of their most important players at such a young age. Of course, his dad was a superstar, and he kicked that goal
Oh, that goal.
Yeah.
to win them the game. And also the 1 vote to Jake Lloyd, who, as usual, just does his job in the back line, gets a huge amount of the ball. But yeah, it was a tough day for Sydney, considering, they did get dominated throughout the field with Collingwood having a lot more scoring chances, but just not putting them away.
Yeah. Where was Cal Brown? I thought he was going to be a JLJ guarantee and turn up, but
He had a good game. He had like 17 touches or something.
he was good
Played
after
on the wing.
Really?
Yeah. I think
So he did have a good game. He didn't play much forward line though, so
Yeah.
he didn't
And
kick his goal.
he cooked the JLJ multi. We needed him to kick a goal, but
That's all right.
Tell him like
What
next week.
Definitely.
VK. Moving on, not a Matho, you're right. Moving on
Matho,
to
Gold
Gold
Coast
Coast.
Saints.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
some are marking this as the game of the year so far.
Definitely could be.
I think it was a real good battle of the young teams, I suppose, like all the young draft picks and stuff, like starting to flourish. Dan the Man Butler, I think
Dominating.
He's playing so well.
we talk about him every single podcast, but I think I sent in a stat before, and it was the 3 forwards from Richmond, Jack Higgins, Jason Castagna, and Daniel Rioli have kicked 20 goals between all 3 of them. And Dan Butler's kicked 21, and Richmond got rid of him.
I think he just suits better in the St Kilda system
Yeah.
than the Richmond one. He's
Exactly.
had an incredible... 2 of his goals, the one where he crumbed it, and the one on the run where Ryder just handballed it off, and there was no way he was... I forgot who it was, couldn't catch up to him. And it was beautiful, beautiful game from Dan Butler.
Yeah. What about Jack Steele? Is he in your All-Australian side right now?
On my bench, yes.
Yeah, I think he
reckon
is.
at the moment.
Yeah.
I don't
I
think
think
he
he
starts
probably-
for me. But I think he's on my bench.
Yeah,
and
He'd be close to starting. He'd probably be
definitely.
Yeah.
I think maybe the 3rd best midfielder this year, behind Neil and someone else, maybe McRae or something.
Yeah, he's been huge.
Yeah,
I think,
definitely. That's been probably their best player this year.
yeah, by a country mile. And I think it's Brett Ratton, I think, is an underrated coach. Carlton should never have got rid of him, and I think he's doing real well down at St Kilda. And everyone was saying at the start of the year that they're not. I think they went to Adelaide Oval or up north or something and lost, and it was their first away game from Marvel for the season. And everyone was pointing at them saying that they won't be able to win away from home, but I think they've kind of shut down all the critics by performing so well. And where are they sitting right now on the ladder?
They are right now
they're
third.
currently, exactly.
on
They
the
win.
ladder right now.
They win against Geelong. They go second.
They do above Brisbane.
It's good effort from the
It's good to
Sainers.
see.
Yeah.
Wouldn't mind them winning the premiership. There's obviously teams I'd hate to win the premiership, but I wouldn't mind seeing a lot of the top 8 right now, I guess. St Kilda, Brisbane, wouldn't mind West Coast winning the premiership either. It's good signs for St Kilda supporters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they'll win the premiership though, but
No, but it'll just be awesome to see it. I don't think they'll win it, but it'll be good to see that.
Dan Butler gets a 3. What do you reckon?
absolutely.
Yep.
Jack Steele for 2. And your man again, VK, Took Miller, gets a 1.
He's been a beast this season, just quietly.
Yeah, kicked the 2 goals.
VK
Knew
didn't
all
know
about
who
him
he was.
before the start. No, I was a bit of an expert. When it comes
The
to
fact we
Tik
didn't know who Tuke Miller was at the start of the year was kind of embarrassing when he's one of their best players and was for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to get suspended first week.
He hasn't got that arciness he used to have in him.
Yeah, it's disappointing. Even I didn't know he had that in him earlier, but that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on. I'll go to the Essendon
Okay.
GWS match.
Another good game.
Followed up the last game with another close one. Just a choke from my Essendon. It got to 3/4 time, and I'm messaging a friend, and he's saying, "Oh, you guys have won it from here," and I said, "No, we haven't." I said Jeremy Cameron will kick 3 in this last quarter, kick 2, and they brought it back. Even if it was 30 points at 10 minutes, I wouldn't be confident in Essendon. Big talking point though, boys. The free kick at the end with Callum Ward. What is everyone's thoughts on that controversial decision?
I reckon it was a free kick because his head was over the ball, but the exaggeration, I think, is what gets set in Essendon fans' mind, saying that it wasn't.
I mean, Essendon fans went a bit too far with all the death threats and stuff. It's just there's no need for that.
Yeah.
It was high. It was an exaggeration, but I would have, if I was the umpire out there, and obviously, and I didn't go for Essendon, and it was subjective. Objective. Sorry. I'd look at it and it would be high.
Yeah,
So
I think
I've looked back at it a few times. It's high, but the exaggeration was not necessary.
No, really.
But it was the right call. So
got his fine for staging, just like with Tom Papley, Tom Papley has definitely worked his way into the top 10 biggest wankers in the AFL.
Yeah,
Always has been.
He's a very good player.
His dive on Maynard. He's not even that good of a player, honestly. He's their only forward.
That's a big call.
He is an absolute gun.
He's second best small forward in the comp.
Yeah.
Behind Charlie Cameron.
Because he gets targeted the most time out of everyone. He probably gets kicked the ball double the amount of Charlie Cameron and Dan Butler does, and has less goals.
If he's their only forward, then surely all their backmen are just focusing on him, making it harder for him to get the ball and get goals.
Yeah.
If he's their only forward.
Because he gets targeted the most time. So he gets the ball kicked to him the most times out of everyone else. So you're more likely to score.
He's still going to get targeted more times than the other forwards in their team as well. So that make it harder.
No, well, if you say Buddy was playing or whatever.
I reckon it would be interesting to see Papley and Buddy and see how good Papley was. And if it's
interesting, you can't predict that though.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm not saying if he played at a club with other good forwards, he wouldn't be as good as he is.
Fair enough.
The
votes for this game, for the GWS Essendon game, I've had Merritt with 3, Whitfield, it's amazing watching Whitfield hit targets every week. In my opinion, the second best field kick in the AFL behind Daniel at the Bulldogs, and then Taranto with the 1 vote. Very stiff to only get 1 vote. Taranto had a great game for me. But as Jacko was saying to me earlier, his kicking percentage around the ground wasn't very good, so that's why he dropped down to the 1 vote.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting Whitfield's kicking ability, considering that the start of the year wasn't as high as what it used to be, but he went back up to, I think, 84% this week. So, back to his usual.
Definitely. Go.
Yeah, interesting that he says he's his second best field kick in the comp, VK.
What are your thoughts on that one?
Well, I might be a bit biased here, but I still think Daniel Rich is the best kick in the competition.
He's a beautiful kick, yeah.
Caleb Daniel, he hits his targets, but it's 30 metres every time. Daniel Rich will hit it 55 metres away every time. So
Daniel's just his decision making. He just never makes a mistake when he's coming out of defence. The short kicks are sometimes the harder ones. Because when there's so many players around, he's got to make that short kick when there's players around him. I reckon it'd be very close. Rich would probably be 3rd for me behind Whitfield, but he's definitely a great kick. I'll move us on to Port vs Richmond, which was a great game. I really enjoyed watching this game.
Yeah.
Port Adelaide showed that they are actually a premiership contender for me. I didn't believe in what they had going. I thought they just started off well like they have in previous seasons, but to beat a team like Richmond was a very good effort. Ollie Wines was huge. 28 touches a goal, 10 tackles with 89% disposal efficiency is one of the best games probably for the year of an individual player. And I'd like to ask you, I'd said my opinion on them being contenders. Do you guys agree with this? Do you reckon they are a threat for the premiership this year?
I reckon they're top 3 premiership contenders.
Jacker?
Probably. Well, I just said if you stop Charlie Dixon, you beat them because they haven't got really any other forwards. I mean, that was evident when they versed Brisbane. Harris Andrews kept Charlie Dixon to no goals and about 2 marks for the whole game. So if you stop Charlie Cameron, you beat Port Adelaide quite comfortably.
Yeah.
If Laddams and Gray, though, start firing, if Laddams keeps going, he had 2 goals on the weekend, Gray kicks 3 straight, if they play well, then you could probably beat them without Dixon. But Dixon's obviously their biggest threat, and Brisbane showed that, and they beat them a few weeks back.
Yeah.
I mean, I reckon it'll be interesting to see Port Adelaide in the finals as well, because they haven't. When was the last time they were in finals? They weren't in there last year. So
no, that was when Shuey did that duck in the extra time game.
Yeah. So that was
a couple years ago.
That was like
2017.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a while ago, so it'll be interesting to see how they go in finals.
Yeah. Well, considering that Ken Inkley had to make finals this year as he was getting sacked.
Yeah. He's done well.
Matthew's call of them making a wooden spoon looking really strong right now.
You never know, though. Wait, is it mathematically
possible? They could drop off.
Mathematically possible. I don't think it.
I don't know if it is possible.
Yeah, they can't go below Adelaide, I don't think. I don't think it's mathematically possible. That's all right.
There you go.
That's right.
Have you heard the votes this game?
Wine's 3 comfortably, and then Boak and Gray, they're 2 consistent players the past few years. 2 votes for Boak and 1 vote for Gray.
Boak is huge.
Definitely.
Yeah, he's playing
Boak's
well.
been a good player this year. I reckon he'll come top 5 in the Brownlow.
Yeah. Shout out to Jack Davo, though, long-time listener, one-time special guest. I think him saying that Collingwood turn up in finals is 100% correct, and that probably pushes the premiership contenders to 4 with Brisbane, Port, West Coast, and Collingwood. That's my 4.
Did you not say Richmond?
I still think Richmond are better club than Collingwood.
I reckon Richmond the second favourites behind West Coast for me. I reckon it's going to be those 2 in the grand final.
Yeah, I agree. I think Richmond are the best team in the comp still, then Brisbane, then probably Port Adelaide.
I reckon
I think West Coast in there as well,
West
obviously.
Coast,
Yeah.
I reckon they've just been too inconsistent.
Through West Coast?
Richmond.
But you saw how good Richmond came when all their players went out. They got so much depth, and it's incredible.
Yeah. True.
Yeah, they bring back Leon Prestia, won their BNF last year. They'll bring back Basher Hooley, who also probably was top 5 in their BNF last year. Shane Edwards, who's also a gun of a player.
Yeah.
Depth.
Be good.
It'll be good.
Wouldn't be surprised if Cochin's hammy goes again, though. Would not be surprising at all.
Absolutely.
Move on to the Brisbane Bulldogs game. And good win for the Brisbane boys. Of course, there's a big talking point from these games was how dominant Jack Macrae and Lachie Neale were. Of course, Macrae had 40 touches, which is the most for anyone this year. Also kicked a goal early in the game, and Lachie Neale also had 36 touches as well, also kicking the goal. Which, crazy to think that in the shortened quarters, both of them probably end up having 50 or whatever in a normal length game. So, crazy to think that someone can get the ball that much. Of course, neither of them played without an opponent. Of course, Brisbane let Jack Macrae do what he wants. Melbourne let Lachie Neale do what they want, which is fair enough considering that, both of their midfields back each other to win the ball. As I guess one of the big talking points is the Brisbane midfield the most underrated midfield in the competition?
Yeah.
I'd say so, because they just play. They're not like stars except for Neale, but they just play their role. Is what they work together beautifully. Big O's having a better season than he has in the past, and he's actually looking like
Big O. He's really good now.
And when you have midfielders that all do their role, it's like the opposite to Melbourne. Melbourne, you look at names wise, maybe have better names than Brisbane do, but they're all the same player.
Yeah, that's why.
You work together at Brisbane.
That's why I reckon Melbourne, the past few years, ever since the finals, they've been picked to be like the most improved for the next season and haven't really lived up to it. And I think you're right in that VK saying that list-wise, like looking at the names, they look like they will probably be one of the biggest sides. But they just don't perform, and it's almost like it's like what Brett DeLeo said about GWS. They're too much individuals about them.
Definitely.
So,
Yeah, exactly. When you look through Brisbane midfield, you got, of course, Lachie Neale's the superstar of the competition, best player in the comp at the moment, and will win the Brownlow unless he gets injured, of course. Then you got Jared Lyons, who Brisbane picked up for absolutely nothing the same day that he got delisted from Gold Coast. And then those two, I guess, are your hard ball winners. Of course, you throw Cam Ellis-Yolmen in there as well, who's a big body who, isn't the greatest footballer, but, gets the ball every now and then. But then you got the run of Zorko and Hugh McCluggage, of course, both having really good years. Wouldn't be surprised if Hugh McCluggage makes All-Australian by the end of the year. He's having a really strong year once again. And of course, as I've said many times before, he's the next Scott Pendlebury in terms of, his decision-making and the way he can kick the ball. Just really good, the Brisbane midfielders. And of course, another big man that was in this game was Matty Eagles.
Absolute machine.
Absolute monster.
What is he, 30 years old these days?
30 years old, won the recruit, 4 or 5 years ago. Somehow still on the list. Mm-hmm.
What was it? 2 contested possessions from one disposal. 100% disposal efficiency. He had a better game than McRae. McRae kicked it at 60%. 100% from Matty Eagles. Unstoppable, man. Unstoppable.
Yep. And also, I think the best part is they showed he went to 12 ruck contests, won 2 of them, and he also won the first centre bounce he went to. So after the next 11 ruck contests he went to,
it doesn't matter. It's how you start. It's how you start,
true.
lad.
That is true. But yeah, I would be very surprised if he, I guess, keeps his spot for a while, considering he's 30 years old and had little to no impact on the game at all. But yeah, votes for this game. Really tough to figure out the votes, actually, considering that I guess all 3 of these players could have easily picked up the 3 votes. We've given the 3 to Lachie Neale just because of the Brisbane win. Given 2 to Jack McRae, of course, with his 40 touches. And 1 vote to Dane Zorko, who in the first half would have been the best on ground. His speed and the way he breaks out of the packs was, first class, and why he's been, probably Brisbane's best player for the last 5 years.
Yeah, for sure.
Matho, move on to, what could have been for Carlton versus West Coast.
Exactly. And put it perfectly yourself, Jacko, what could have been. Not making excuses, but that umpiring was probably one of the worst umpiring performances I've ever seen.
It was
just
probably
this season. It's just declining the umpiring.
Yeah.
You say it every year, the umpires suck. This year, it actually is not very good.
Like, I fully understand that umpires have to stay in hubs as well and are away from their families and stuff, but the AFL has to start to introduce punishments for shit umpiring.
I agree.
Like, there's 3 big calls this week from different games. The Tom Papley's flop, the holding the ball on Sam Petrevski-Seton,
and that was
the duck as well for Callan Ward and Essendon. Like, they're all controversial calls, no doubt about it. But I think being paid such high money to do such a important job for the league, they have to be on their game all the time. Like, it's a big ask, I understand, but it's just ridiculous when they are stuffing up like that. Like, that holding the ball on Petrevski-Seton at the top of the goal square, might have been holding the ball, but on any other day of the week, I think it could have gone either way. And it's such an important time of the game, directly in front of goals, to change the momentum of the game. I think that's what costed Carlton in the end. But at the end of the day, Carlton dropped their heads too early. Once West Coast get on top, or any team get on top, they just nowhere to be found. And it shits you as a Carlton supporter, but I suppose it's just what you got to work to. Dom Sheed, huge. I think
Massive,
he's having a good year. He gets 3 votes. It was big for West Coast, as well as Elliot Yeo was also good for him. He's lucky to get 1 vote. Zach Fisher, 4 goals from coming back from injury. It was a good inclusion. And I like having Zach Fisher in the squad. But like you were saying about the Brisbane midfield, Jacko, having the big bodies to get the ball out to the likes of Hugh McCluggage and the fast-moving Zorko and stuff like that. I think getting another big body in the Carlton midfield to help out Cripper would probably take us to the next level. And
Like a Wines or something.
yeah, I think we were
That's
linked.
what I wanted Essendon.
Yeah, we were linked with Wines last trade period.
I don't think you get Wines anymore.
But I think
He's on so much money.
Yeah.
Just how much money he's on? Isn't he on like $1 million a year? I don't know if he's worth that much.
You think he would? He's still probably 24 years old.
Yeah.
And
I think
one of the best
$1
midfielders in
million.
the captain of their club.
Yeah.
And of course, you can't go by those things. Of course, as Max Gorn came out and said,
Yeah, true.
they got his thing wrong by 250,000. So
That's mental.
exactly. And of course, the man on 1.2 million pinged his calf, as I said he would.
Yeah.
No surprise.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But Matho, going back to your umpiring statement, I think it's crazy you're bringing a punishment if an umpire gets a decision wrong. Clubs don't punish a footballer, say if he's missed a goal 10 metres in front. The club doesn't go, all right, $10,000 because you missed that goal. He's made his mistake. You can't blame me.
Performance-based, no, but
yeah.
they sanction them when they do something wrong in the media or in the public, like you've seen with Richmond and the sex offences and stuff like that.
That's different. The umpire's not
100%
not touching
different.
Players.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm not saying that they are, but that's what I'm saying is that they need to introduce punishments for umpires for getting big decisions wrong, because that's how you can base their performances. It's not like they're going to go out and throw fists or anything. That's the only thing that you can criticise about their game, though. And they've got such an important role as mediating the game. They need to get it right.
Such a hard job, though.
Yeah, but if you say that though, Josh Caddy deserves to be fined because for his silly 50-metre penalty he gave away and cost Richmond the game pretty much. I can almost guarantee you they didn't fine Josh Caddy because he gave away a silly 50-metre penalty.
At football clubs, they would 100% have a fining system, even if it's just behind closed doors. If you give away a 50-metre penalty, you'll be punished.
I don't think they would. I really don't think they would.
They added it under 17s for research.
Yeah, exactly. That's different for local clubs.
That's just like local clubs and AFL levels. I think definitely at AFL levels they'll have punishments for perform. Like obviously missing directly in front 10 metres out, they'll get their punishment from the media for that, and the club won't punish them for that. But players get dropped if they don't perform, so umpires should get dropped if they don't perform. That's what
umpires do. I don't know about umpires do get dropped if they don't perform. The top umpires get to do the best games. The worst umpires don't do the best games, which is evident. That's really why you didn't get the best umpires, because it's Carlton versus West Coast. They send their best umpires to do the Port versus Richmond game and stuff, because it's a more high intense game, and that's just how it is.
But it shouldn't be a ranking of the best umpires. All the umpires should be equal, and they should be awarding the same free kicks. If holding the ball's there or holding the ball's there, you can't.
But they do that, but you can't. Of course, the umpires are going to be ranked. That's like saying we're going to do a randomise for who gets to umpire the grand final. No, you do your best umpires. For the grand final.
Obviously, you put the best umpires into the grand final based off the season, but you can't base it off games on who's playing.
You can. That's what they do.
But it's for premiership points.
It makes the most sense. Yeah, but
imagine having your three. Go wrong though.
But imagine having your three best umpires umpiring, North Melbourne versus Adelaide, and then you've got three umpires who are still obviously very good umpires at AFL level, but they're umpiring, as I said before, the Port Adelaide versus Richmond game, and they're going to make more decisions wrong because they're not as good.
It's still for premiership points though. It shouldn't be based off the teams being played. Would they have sent the best umpires for the Gold Coast St Kilda game?
No, they wouldn't have, because
exactly
probably not
as
good.
Being ranked.
But they would have sent decent ones because they're decent games and they're both decent teams.
Exactly, and West Coast are a decent team. The West Coast are premiership contenders, so they would have sent decent umpires for that game.
They're also still decent umpires, but they're not the best umpires, as I said.
All I'm saying is that they need to introduce punishments for umpires. They need to be dropped, and players get dropped if they don't perform. Yeah,
like I said, umpires do get dropped. They get dropped to a worse game. Of course, in other years, they'd be dropped to the VFL, to umpire VFL games. They dropped to the TAC Cup, drop to the knee full, drop to the waffle, all those things. You can't do that this year because there simply isn't those competitions.
Fair enough.
Love the debate, lads. Love the debate.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Move on to the final game, Melbourne versus North Melbourne, last night, which is actually, a really good game up until halftime, really. Melbourne blew it out in the last quarter. Of course, Christian Petrarca and Clayton Oliver again dominating, with Oliver having his 31 touches and Petrarca having the 29, both kicking the goal as well. And, of course, Petrarca did miss a couple of easy ones. I think if he can bring that to his game, he could, push into that top 10 players in the AFL if he isn't there currently. But also another good sign for Melbourne is Sammy Wiedemann. And now, lads, do we think Sam Wiedemann could become one of the best forwards in the comp in a couple of years' time?
Yeah,
yes.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
He's like their only forward.
He is, and of course, he probably should have had 5 goals last night, but he's kicking in front of goals from, spots that should be able to kick it from, missing. But his marking, presenting up the field is, really strong. And, when we'll have him and the King brothers, I guess, be the 3 next dominant forwards over the next 5 to 10 years, which will be very exciting for the game. Now, I guess going to the votes, 3 votes again to Christian Petrarca, who would you guys say is probably second behind Lachie Neale in terms of the Brownlow this year?
Definitely. Or maybe Bo could be in there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But Petrarca is probably the second favourite so far.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
100%.
And of course, 2 votes to Clayton Oliver again, keeps racking up the ball, and 1 vote to a man who's copped a lot of criticism over the last month for, his lack of game time that they've been giving him. His fitness levels aren't there. But Brayshaw coming out with 27 touches, getting the 1 vote, also kicking the goal at a very crucial time. It was, quite good for them, and, good to see that he's finally getting back to his form from a couple of years ago when he nearly won the Brownlow.
Definitely.
For sure.
So is that everything, lads?
Yeah,
I reckon.
Nothing more?
Everything I've done here.
Cheers for listening, guys. If you haven't already, make sure you go watch last week's podcast. And, of course, if you haven't watched the Callum Brown podcast, another good one you guys should listen to is the Dan Butler podcast. Of course, he's now in All-Australian form and would be awesome if you guys go listen to that one as well. But make sure you like and subscribe. Go follow us on Instagram. Go like our page on Facebook as we start posting there more frequently. TikTok, we have some more stuff planned for the future. So make sure you go follow us there. But, yeah, see you guys.
See you later.